everyone, and welcome to Spoilers, obviously.
Spoilers, obviously! Oh my gosh!
Oh my god, I am your host, Joel, and with us, Moses Moon.
I'm back, everyone. It's 2023.
It's 2023, our very first episode recording of the new year.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back. We are being risen from the dead, just like our conversation.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah,
not really,
that makes sense. Yeah, no, I see what you did there.
it makes sense, but at the same time, they're not being risen from the dead.
Well, everybody saw the thumbnail and read the title, so they know already.
Yes, you know. But yeah. So we're going to talk about
I thought you
The
were gonna
Last of Us.
segue like, yeah. I thought you were gonna be like, there are no more podcasters. It's just us. It's just The Last of Us, and I'm like, I saw that coming. But then you didn't, and we're just being resurrected. So fair enough.
Well, I didn't think about that. You know what? You said it. So it's just The Last of Us, just you and me, Moses,
Oh yeah,
not talking to no one. If you think
it's
about
just it's for the only podcasters and only people left on the earth. We are The Last of Us podcasters.
it.
Dot.
That I have to say that is probably a good name for a podcast.
The Last of Us podcasters.
Yeah, the last of
Mm.
the podcasters. I know something like that.
Specifically about The Last of Us. Oh, it doesn't drive with the lore. It goes with the lore. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh well. Yeah, we're talking about The Last of Us.
Yes, The Last of Us season 1, episode 1. The very
One.
first episode.
Uno.
So before we really dive into it, to whomever doesn't know, this show is actually based on a video game. Not a
Yeah.
lot of people know this.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's shocking.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. So yeah, I as you all know, I have another podcast in Hebrew, and one of my siblings over there did not know it was based on a video game. So
What? That's
yeah,
crazy.
and then I have also some of my friends who watch it, like they also didn't know it's based on a video game. So
I had no idea that was a possible thing that people would know. Fair enough.
well,
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, anyways, so this is based on a video game that came out to PlayStation in the year 2013.
Good times.
Good times. But in the show, they kind of changed it up a bit.
Of course. I mean, the
Yeah.
first episode's basically the prologue of the video game.
No, actually. So in
Well,
the
the
video
first
game,
half.
in the video game, you actually don't know what happened and why everything is happening. Why are there zombies all of a sudden until later into the game?
Correct.
Compared to over here, you actually find out first, like the first few seconds, the first 3 minutes. That's when you find out what is about to happen.
I mean, yeah, they seed it pretty strong with the opening interview and then things with what's going on in the background and the like news clippings coming to the foreground. It was pretty overt, but it's like I think they did that because they knew that the source material was known, apparently not, and that it's better to get the audience informed prior and let the characters find out as they go on.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense for how they did it, and I think it's really good because in one hand, you are respecting everyone who knows the story, but at the same time, you need to tell the story as if no one knows the story.
Yeah, well, I played the first one like through half of the story. Like that's where I stopped. Like I stopped. Like I played along, and then eventually I just watched like a game walkthrough or something at some point. Because like any video game, it's a branching path, and you can choose many things. So it's interesting to see what storylines they'll be focusing on and whatnot. However, more or less, and in a broad stroke, very broad stroke, how the first episode played out is more or less how the prologue of the video game and like intro story. Like a lot happens in between, but because you're still learning about the world as you're playing. But I mean, as far as like the story beats that need to happen in order to propel the story, and that's all I know basically, it was followed pretty closely.
Pretty accurate. I saw a lot of the videos on the internet. How people took certain scenes from the actual game
Yeah,
and
side by side.
side by side to the show, and accurate. The clothes, the monologue, the conversation. I like really good. Also, like how the cars are driving.
Mhm.
It was amazing. But
Yeah.
the opening of this season, the series, how you have the two professors on the TV show,
Mhm.
and you see how slowly, like, like you have the first
People
professor, like,
clue in.
exactly. So you have the first professor, like, oh yeah, viruses is what gonna kill us all. And the other professor, like, yeah, no, like, look at the history. Yes, viruses can really kill and affect, but overall, we will always win. There will always be a cure. It's fungus. It's fungi that will destroy us and kill us. There's no cure for that. And people are
Fungus
laughing at
among us.
him and all that. But then he says
Yeah.
global warming. And then the fungus has to adapt.
Yeah.
And that's what's gonna happen. It's like, oh my God, this, and it got me thinking. I saw that specific scene, the opening scene, multiple times. Like, if this were to ever happen in reality, that option is the most likable or possible option, in my point of view, that is out there. Because in Hollywood, you have multiple stories, or also comics or whatever, multiple stories of zombies.
Yeah.
All of them are people who are risen from the dead. Even Game of Thrones, risen from the
Virus
dead.
oriented. Yeah.
So it's interesting how it's like, no, we're gonna go with this option, which this fungus actually does exist in our world. It is a real
Quadriceps. Yeah.
fungus, the cordyceps, that actually takes control of the ants. But in this case, all the hosts, all the zombies are technically still alive. They are being tortured. They feel everything that's happening to them. They're just high. They're very fucking high, but they're still alive until the fungus, like, yeah, I had enough. I want to spread over, so I'm going to kill you. And so it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
The world in the game is really beautifully like done in its world building and exploration of these themes, and or like execution of how the virus or the fungus works in its stages. And I thought that was really nice to see hints of that in the show, and I'm really looking forward. I am waiting, and I don't know if it's in the second episode because I haven't watched it yet. But for clickers, I am so stoked. I cannot wait because it's so. We've been building a lot of the good concepts in storytelling of tell, don't show, and then the minor show, don't tell kind of deal.
Mhm.
Oh no, sorry, opposite. Show, don't tell. Totally blocked on that. Where they're showing little glimpses of like our hero and his backstory, and like the thing is like a lot of time has passed since the beginning of the episode, and then now in particular, like moving onwards, they understand how the fungus works, and so people have past experience that we have yet to encounter, and like, but it makes sense with the world, and so this is going to be good. This is where you walk the edge of the knife, and I'm looking forward to see how the show maintains its course.
Yeah, I have to say that they're doing a great job. And I'm someone who hasn't played or the game at all. Okay, I did play the game a little bit, but not from beginning to end. I maybe played maybe half an hour, and that's it, because I don't own a PS4, 5, or whatever Xbox. I have no way of playing the game.
Noob.
I am a noob. In
No,
other
it's
words,
all good. No
I
one's
have no
asking
way.
you to.
I have no way of playing the game. So I don't know. I don't know the story. I know vaguely the story because it's the game has been out for 10 years now.
Mhm.
So I vaguely know the story.
Well,
Yeah,
here's the thing between video games and like whatever, like they're their own mediums, they're their own stories. This is an adaptation.
yeah,
And I mean, like for this podcast and or like any other review materials, we are solely looking at the media of film or cinematography and or like shows. The reading material or video game source shouldn't be required to look at what has been given. Now in some of our other things requiring Lord of the Rings or Marvel, some of that lore is known, and so it's incumbent upon us to kind of like compare and contrast. However, in this case, as a video game, and because there are various branching stories, many people have the independence of like checking it out for themselves and or like looking at the story, but like there's only so many ways you can end it. What we are looking for is the story that's being told, because like you and I could play the same game very differently and come to two different conclusions through the moral choice paths. Like if we played what's that so the name is leaving me. No worries. Nonetheless, there are games where you could take different morality choices and find yourself in several different endings. If I understand, this game has some endings. You can choose to do one thing. There is a proper ending, but regardless, the show is going to be taking us on its own journey, and so therefore, in my opinion, it is not necessarily too required for an individual to have the research, aka playing the game, to evaluate and understand the material.
yeah. I definitely agree with you. I agree with that, but basically the main story, I believe, is more or less the same when it comes to the bigger picture. But either way, yes, we are mainly going to focus on what they are showing us on the show itself. Um, because it is based on a game, just like we talked about shows and movies that are based on books. So we will like do a little comparison here and there, but not really focus, like, because we always know you have a book, you have a movie, obviously there'll be changes. There's
Did they not do a good job with those adaptations?
exactly.
Mhm.
So that's more or less if
I haven't heard any complaints from the fans entirely. More like people are happy things are being confirmed as canon and certain things as regarding to the watch or certain other aspects that weren't necessarily touched upon in the game. So
yeah, I also haven't heard any negative reviews. I heard only positive and amazing reviews about this show. First episode got, if I'm not mistaken, like 9.8.
solid.
I could be mistaken. It's also a very long episode. It's an hour and 20 minutes. Amazing. I loved it.
I didn't even
I
feel that. You just honestly surprised. I did. I was like, what, an hour and 20? Did that really?
Yeah, it's an hour and 20 minutes. I already saw episode 2, but we're not going to talk about episode 2. But
Mm.
episode 2 is 15 minutes. So it's like
Ah,
no, but it's I loved how the opening was a long opening, like, because we need to explain the world. There's a
yeah,
lot we need to explain over here. It is
that's
also
great.
sad. It's also sad that there's only 9 episodes and not 10.
Mm.
Um,
Maybe
you
they
know,
can take their time with certain episodes and do longer ones if need be.
yeah,
Maybe they'll do that, return to that, because this is technically the pilot, but not really.
yeah.
So I'm all for it, though. That sounds incredible. So what are we going to talk about specifically about this
So
episode?
so yeah, let's talk about our main character,
Mm.
who has the most amazing name ever. In my point of
Mm.
view, he has
Yes, indeed.
the best name ever.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
yeah, so we have Joel, aka
Yeah.
oh my God, my name is Joel.
No way. I could. You didn't know.
You know what else you didn't know?
Who else didn't know?
No, you know what else you didn't know?
Oh, what else didn't I know?
I have the same birthday as he does.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
What? What a coincidence. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Okay. To be more accurate, his birthday is the 26th of September. I'm the 27th of September. But
Hmm.
he celebrated his birthday while it was already where we live in the world, the 27th, and the world went to shit the 26th at night in America, which where we are in the world Israel, it's already the
The
27th.
27th.
So you could,
Fair enough.
okay.
You
saved
know, it's
it.
interesting. I've been having a weird trend of various friends with various how would you say it? Mer- hmm, uh, wow, my English is just gone. Various productions of various like horror or like catastrophe things going on, and they all happen on his birthday. So it's just funny to see that you are yet another friend who has a catastrophe happen on his birthday.
Well, okay. First of all, it didn't happen on my
Franchises
birthday.
was the word I was looking for. Thank you very much.
Franchise.
Yep.
No, okay. This didn't happen on my birthday. It's yes, in reality, the 27th of September is my birthday, but you know, it's a show, so it didn't happen to me. But yeah, it's
Hey,
I know.
you can pretend.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to pretend on my birthday the world went to shit, everyone dies and turn into zombies. I don't know if that's something I would want to pretend.
I mean, sure. Yeah, fair enough. But okay, what about Joel? What are we getting in about him?
Okay, so what do we know about him? He is a father of one. He and his brother live together. At first, I thought it was a gay lover. It's like, really? That
Okay.
okay. Like, is this like somehow relevant to the story? What's going on over here? And because they didn't say brother until like later into the episode. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. It makes more sense now. I don't know. Anyways,
Mm.
so it's the 27th of September. It's the day his daughter goes to school, and we see the one of the students, his fingers twitching, which later on in the episode we see a literally a sign that says, "Here are the symptoms that you need to
Mhm.
notice if you got bitten."
Yep.
And one of them is, you know, twitching. So we see basically kids in her class twitching. This is how close she was to die. Not only that, we
Well.
also see well, yeah, she does die later, but
Spoilers, she dies.
yes, she dies. But no, not only that, something I didn't notice the first time I watched
Mm.
is how did how did all of this spread so quickly?
Mm.
And you see in the newspaper, you see in the news, and they say like grain, flour, they talk about all that. And then I saw a YouTube video because I also watch, you know, people explaining it on YouTube. And
Yep.
one of them point out, look at all the times Joel and his daughter were so close to eat wheat or flour, whatever it is, and they didn't. There's a scene after school. The girl goes to the old lady, whatever, or before school, I don't remember.
Yeah.
And
Get cookies.
exactly, she offers her a cookie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is it chocolate chips? Like, no, it's raisin.
No, it's
Oh,
raisin.
I don't
Gif.
want it.
I like
Exactly.
raisins. I would have been infected, but that's okay.
So all these other things, like for example, Joel, it's his birthday. He wanted a birthday cake. He never
Cake,
got a
but he
birthday.
didn't get one. Yeah.
But like all these little things, just by the food, they didn't, you know, they were so close to dying, but they didn't. And it's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's like once you know this information, you have to watch the episode again and notice those small
Now I
details.
have to watch the episode again because that makes so much sense. And I'm wondering why I picked up on that. I was like, why are these particular food items like there? But it makes sense now. It's like, I mean, like it made thematic sense, but then like food kept on occurring within those first chunk, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. But it wasn't a payoff that I wasn't aware of. I was like, oh, okay.
So I'll give a small spoiler for episode 2. There's
Uh-huh.
there's a scene where Ellie eats a chicken sandwich.
Okay.
Okay, and Joel and Tex looking at her, and like they're like, "Oh my God, like I want it, but you know I can't have it because it could infect me."
Yeah.
So they don't eat it, and that's another detail for food.
Mm-hmm.
And even on the second episode, it's amazing how they still put detail to food and how it can affect. Back to the
I'll
first
keep my
episode.
eyes open for that now. So that's really cool.
So yeah, it is only once I saw the YouTube video, it's like I noticed like, oh my God, this is like, how did I miss this? It's obvious I'll miss it because I didn't play the game,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't know. But it's amazing how they give you all of these things. Like this is how you can get sick. It's right in front of your face, but you're too stupid to even realize it. You missed it. So yeah. Anyways, so it's the 27th of September. They also say like whoever was in the hospital was most likely to get infected first.
Yeah.
And we see the old lady, she came back from the hospital, therefore she's sick.
Yeah.
And that's slowly,
I
everyone
like
else
watching her like get enveloped in the background, the old woman. I was like, I see what you did there. Creepy as fuck. But yeah.
it is. And all the little things
Fungal
that came out,
branches. Yeah.
that
Super
came out from
gross.
her mouth. It's gross, but they did an
It's
amazing
supposed
job.
to. Yeah. Yeah. That's the kind of monster horror I'm a fan of.
Yes, this is something I'm enjoying, and I love. This is what I love. It's fucking HBO. HBO will do whatever they can to stick to the lore and make it as accurate as possible, and they're not afraid of showing you gore, blood, nudity, and beheading. They're not afraid of
Yeah.
showing you that, and I love that. And this is why, not because of the whole nudity stuff and the blood
I
and all
mean,
that.
I'm a fan, but yeah, all right.
No, I'm also a fan. I'm enjoying this. I'm loving this. But this is why, like, you see how HBO is like, we are gonna do whatever it takes to stick to the law and be as accurate and true to the story to the fans and all that. That is just because of that is the main reason why they should have done the Rings of Power and not Amazon.
Absolutely.
Fuck
Yeah, well,
Amazon.
fuck Amazon. We're still people. 2023 is, we're almost at the second month of it. We're still salty.
Yeah, very. It's
I
been like
like
what?
the whole. Yeah, it's been too long.
Yeah.
It still doesn't matter. I refuse. I don't know what we're talking about, but I like the whole subplot of Joel's daughter going out and getting his watch fixed. Which, FYI, that's MSTR watch that was designed in the game, but then MSTR, like Meiser, I think is their name. They like went out and for this publicity made these watches, and you can buy replicas with the hole in the watch, but you can buy the actual watch and have it run. It runs on a Psycho quartz movement, so those are
Nice.
pretty reliable. But they're pretty expensive these days, so I'll just give it like a year or two, and the price will come down. Assuming that that's the type of watch you want. There are other options, in my opinion. However, I liked watching that. I think I liked seeing that the watch store owner and his wife. I'm pretty sure they were Algerian.
I have no idea.
Which is where the outbreak was happening in the first, we're hearing about it because they were speaking Arabic. And I was like, she would know. This is the reason why she wants to close everything down, because one of her cousins is like, oh my God, you gotta get out of here. So
I don't know. According to the game.
Yeah, I don't know about the game where it officially started. However, in the show, it is presented that, like, at least specifically, it was noteworthy there.
Or maybe they arrived over there and they're freaking out. And
well, it's like at this point, it's like any infection. Like once you hear about it, like it doesn't matter where the source is. It's a little too late.
Exactly, but I do believe we will find out the source. Like, okay, I don't know how many seasons we're going to get because there are 2 games. If you're doing each game is 1 season, basically we have only 2 seasons and that's it.
Well, I think it could break it up into 4. Part 1 of
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is what I think they should do. So the first half of the game is season 1. The second half of the game is season 2. the first half of the second game is season 3. The second half of the second game is season 4. So overall, 4 seasons, and that will be 4 years. By then, they could potentially also release the third game and like that have 2 more seasons, and that's it, close it off. So I could see a potential for 4 to maximum 6 seasons over here.
Well, hopefully they don't try and milk it for all it's due. However, it would be interesting. There could be some spin-offs with like sub characters with Did you hear if they're working with the creators of The Last of Us?
I don't know. I have no idea.
They must have had someone for like what do they call those? To, buffer and be like, yes, that's true, that's not true, kind of deal.
Most likely because they were very, very accurate to the game as well. So I do believe they probably working with someone. But let's talk a little bit about the zombies and all of that. Because
let's do it.
We touched upon about it a little bit. So like
Stage 1.
So yeah, like we said, it's a fungus. Where is patient 0? We have no idea. How did all of this happen? We have no idea. All we know is it's the 27th of September. The world is now going to shit. 2, 7, and 3. How later on we do see a sign that says here are the symptoms that you should look, if you are bitten or someone else is bitten. Not only that, if you were bitten by, neck or head, you have between 5 to 15 minutes until you turn into a zombie.
Arm, a little more.
Shoulders to your hips, you have about like 8 hours. And from your hips and lower, you have like, I think a day or 2.
Yeah.
Maximum 2. That is pretty much it. Now, what I did notice is I did see characters with chopped up limbs, which means there is a possibility of saving if someone was bitten on his arm or leg, cut it off as fast as you can before it spreads, and you can, stay alive.
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially. You said clickers, so obviously there are different names for the zombies.
Well, there's different names for different stages of the zombies.
Exactly. So the first stage is the runners. And why are they called runners?
Because they can run. Their body's the most fresh. The fungus has not overtaken them to a certain extent. It's still using the body to its full potential.
Okay. And the stage after that, I believe it's the clicker, right?
Yeah, which is where the fungus has overgrown the body to a mass extent where the body's still capable of moving. However, now that the certain functions of the body have ceased due to the body not being able to perform its functions entirely, the fungus uses what's left of the body to create sounds for echolocation to find its prey.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the fungus, when it comes to the clickers, it comes out of their eyes, and therefore they can't see.
It's like, the fungus at some point has overgrown the body, so it's overtaken the eye area. So they.
And because they can still run, but because they can't see anymore, that's why they don't run anymore. Than just start doing clicks with their mouth or teeth or whatever.
And those guys are a little tougher because they have more of a fungal armor, if you will.
Is there a stage after that, or
I mean, there's I believe like there's where like they eventually the fungus like finds a place to sit down and puts you against a wall. I think you at some point there's like I wouldn't call them lurchers, but they can pop out of the wall and grab you. I don't remember. I can quickly Google this, but I'm sure there's some specialties, different ones. But eventually, the fungus will decompose the body enough that it can't be utilized anymore, and so it just takes you and plops you somewhere where it can try and spread out.
Yeah, and grow out some pores and explode and spread itself, which is insane. It's absolutely crazy. So, like we said, the world is going to shit. Everyone is, trying to
Okay,
save themselves.
okay, so it's runner, stalker, clicker, and bloater and shambler. Those are the five stages.
5 stages.
All right, yeah. So, okay, so we have the runner. Stalkers are what's next. Clickers are what we've explained. Bloaters and shambler. All right, so, stalkers. Stalkers are the second stage of the infected, The Last of Us. They take between 2 weeks and 1 year to reach the stage after exposure to the cordyceps brain infection. Stalkers have the vision and speed of runners, but their ferocity with the ferocity of clickers. Most notable physical traits that define the stalkers are distinct croaking noises they make and begin in the beginning of fungal growths on the head and face, usually leaving the host with only one eye. The development of pseudo echolocation and their discretion upon spotting a victim at a distance. They will strafe and take cover, displaying an agile and stealth reliant nature. They eventually close in on their target, hence the name stalker. Okay, clickers are the third stage. They have prolonged exposure to the fungus and now possess strength and significantly surpasses the average human. Clickers appear less human than runners and stalkers. Their faces are completely skewed and scarred by the fungus developed from their infected brains, often when leaving behind a mouth of jagged teeth. By this point, whatever clothes the host may have been wearing are mostly tattered and destroyed. Clickers claw and scratch the fungal growths on their eyes as if they're trying to rid of their blindness, especially when immobile. The growth forms large patches of scale like tissue that glow in the dark. The patches that'll be an interesting detail to look forward to, in especially as they're walking through the darkness of the city, if we'll catch them up there. The patches are seemingly an earlier stage of the fungal infection growing out of the host's bodies. These fungal plates have adapted to keep the host alive and able to spread. In fact, a direct shot to the face with a powerful weapon such as a revolver will only break off a chunk of the mold, like I was saying, they're stronger or armored, leaving the clicker's brain unharmed. This makes them deadlier, but at the price of being completely blind due to their fungal infection taking over their face. However, they utilize echolocation, like we've said. Next stage is bloaters. Good God, you should see these photos. They take years to
Send me the
develop.
link later.
Yeah, I'll send that to you after I'm done blathering about this. But yeah, they take years to develop to reach the stage after years of exposure to the cordyceps. We're going to call that the CBI, cordyceps brain infection. Bloaters are incredibly strong and physically imposing infected that are covered in thick fungus that effectively acts as armor plates, such as their skin forms large patches of scale-like tissues that glow in the dark. They all glow in the dark, damn, which form their mycotoxin pouches. Okay, I see what's going on here. Engulfs their entire body. Because of the protective covering, they can withstand multiple hits from weapons such as a shotgun, hunting rifle, even hatchets and machetes, making them extremely tough to eliminate. Some bloaters are impossible to kill outside of cutscenes. Bloaters are extremely aggressive, but rather slow-moving and uncoordinated, making them more predictable than other infected, like clickers. Bloaters see using echolocation to locate and trap a survivor. Because the fungus has completely deformed their face and blinded them, their echolocation is much less refined than the clickers. Their clicking is much deeper in tone than the other clickers. So that'll be something to note as well, like the pitches and forms, like from croaking to high pitch to low click, high pitch clicks to low pitch clicks. If bloater grabs a survivor, it will violently rip their jaw apart through brutal strength, grabbing the player's head and smashing it to pin them to the ground and pummel their bodies mercilessly, grab the survivor's neck and bend and break spine, killing them instantly. There's no other way for a player to defend themselves if grabbed. All right, so they're just Okay, the bloaters throw sacks of mycotoxin, which explodes on impacts. Spraying the targets with the toxin, the mytoxic, will hurt the player over time, so it is recommended to avoid these. So basically, they're long-range players and heavily armored. They can like lobbying bad grenades. Last but not least, we have the Shambler, which was encountered in The Last of Us Part 2, the game.
Yeah.
They are believed to have developed from exposure to high amounts of water compared to the typical dry environments bloaters develop and are infected. Okay, with the CBI. The existence of the Shamblers was first hinted in rumors in the water. Okay. Okay, this doesn't help. Unknown means characteristics. There we go. Shamblers are horrifying walking pustule clusters that spray gaseous acid when they get near the player and take massive damage before dying. They move slowly and are capable of shifting into a sprint if a noise alerts them. When feeling threatened, they instinctively fire bursts of their acidic spores from their body. The fungal growth is so immersed that the spores cover their entire body, leading to oversized heads and torsos with dozens of pus spores around them. In addition to this, their mouths have been stuck gaping wide by the fungus, preventing them from being able to bite. However, the growth has not consumed their arms and their eyes, which are still partially visible. Once defeated, these festering threats explode with violent force, emitting a cloud of spores. So there you go. And then eventually
You
you
die.
get some of the things that I've said. So there you go. There's all of those things.
Well, that's I think if I were in that world, I would just kill myself.
I mean, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Every time I talk with my friends about when we watch some sort of horror-esque thing, the first question within our first pause is, okay, knowing what you know now, what would you do? And this one's hard. This one's super hard. It's different than other zombies, and it's not a fun one to be sure.
It definitely is, because most of the other zombies are just all the same. They're dead. Just shoot them in the head and that's it. But no, they have armor and they have weapons that grow out of them. So they evolve as well. But yeah. Not only that, you have the zombies, then you have the humans who in the cities, you see life in the city is pretty shitty. It's not the best.
Utter shite.
And then you have outside the city, you have all the zombies. And then you
This
have
is
also
a skip into the future, yeah. By the way.
Yeah, this is skipping into 20 years into the future, just like in the episode. But yeah, you have in the city, it's not the best kind of life. It's pretty safe, but you break the smallest rule and you will be killed.
A fascist militant group that is, or at least what's left of society.
Yeah, and then outside of the city, it's basically all the fucking zombies. So you don't want to deal with that. Not only that, you have people who actually enjoy living outside. And what do? They kill as many zombies. They kill also people. They are cannibals. They are slavers.
Yeah.
They like,
there are all sorts of
murderers.
horrid things going on. The same old,
Exactly.
same old.
In every zombie apocalypse, you always have those things as well. So
Humanity reverts back quite a distance. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
So it's you have so many things that are trying to kill you. It's like, why try to live? Why try to continue on with this world?
Because we must, my friend. It's the way of it.
Anyways, so yeah, as we said, we jump 20 years into the future. Joel's daughter is dead. She was shot by a police officer or an army
military dude. Yeah.
To be more accurate,
they're just trying to be safe. You could tell he's like, you do what? Yeah. Execute him.
exactly. But the thing is, it's very important we see how the army is everywhere within, like they're how with a short amount of time they already were there. They know
Mhm.
what to do. It's just kill, 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 kill. That you have nothing other than that to do. But yeah, 20 years later, we see how the world is, shit. A lot has changed. Joel is not the same person. He's this a cynic. He's
Weather
he
old man.
exactly. He's
But
just
he's in the know. He's smart. He's a smart guy.
oh no,
He's
yes,
got street sense and like,
he has street
we're
smarts
seeing
and
that
book
he's
smarts.
adapted. But
Yeah,
he's cold, like throwing bodies of children into dead bodies of children into a fire pit, and just like, all right, it's just another day.
yeah. He that's what he that's his life. That's his reality now, and he accepts it.
Yeah,
There's nothing else to do. But I love how the world did evolve in the way of communication. They are communicating through radio and they have codes, if it's music from the 50s, all good, all is safe, you
yeah,
know. And then when it comes to music from the 80s, danger, the shit is about to hit the fan.
yep. Which we still
So,
don't know what that necessarily refers to. Like, we understand that, okay, like, but we don't know whose plugins, like what he's talking about. So we're gonna find out probably in a few episodes later, probably around 3 or 4,
mhm.
like what those messages were referring to.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Um, but no, we meet another character, Ellie,
Mm-hmm.
who is a girl who apparently was bitten by a zombie. If I'm not mistaken, what, like 3 weeks ago, 3 days ago, something like that. Don't remember if it was 3 days or 3 weeks.
I think it was
Um,
2 weeks.
2 weeks. And she didn't turn into a zombie. She's completely fine. And not
Yeah.
only that, the skull healed, which means it was something special about her. Now, this is
Yeah.
the typical, storyline. The world went to shit. There's no hope. All of a sudden, there is a glimmer of hope. Shall we take it or shall we fuck it over? And we see Joel, he doesn't give a fuck. He wants to take care of himself. He wants to find his brother. That's all.
Yep.
That's the only thing he gives a fuck about. He doesn't give a fuck about hope. Hope does not exist. There's no such thing as hope in this world.
Yeah, you can
But
imagine by this time there's been enough messianic stories of like, oh, there's got to be safe haven or there's got to be a cure or something, but enough years have gone by for him to be like, yeah, no, that's just fool's hope.
exactly. No, and I don't remember where I heard it. I think I heard it on YouTube, a story of someone, a true story of a guy who was a prisoner in the, I think, Vietnam War, whatever.
Yep.
And everyone had hope this Christmas will be, rescued, and nothing happened. Easter will be rescued, nothing happened. They will be rescued, and by the end, they died. He was one of the survivors, and he said, I did not have hope. I accepted my reality that,
Yep.
I'm gonna die. I did not let hope, I did not sink into hope. I did not, believe in hope. My reality was I'm a prisoner and I might die today.
Yep.
I did not latch on to hope. And everyone who latched on to hope, they died. So
Did.
to see Joel, who's like, yeah, no, I have no hope. So it's very fascinating to see how everything will turn out with him and how he deals with this. And I don't know, it's very very interesting. I'm very much enjoying this story, even though I've never played the game. I don't really know the storyline. It's the acting, the story, the everything. I love it. It's great.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
The
It's done really well. Cinematography's killer. Um, I have the pacing and everything. Like, I have not at all been like, this is too much. No, it's been just right, and seeing how it's been going on, like it just makes me happy.
It is. It is. It's a great episode. It's a great show. Even though the episode is an hour and 20 minutes, I'm willing to watch it again this week just to catch on more details. It's great.
It honestly did not feel or see any different. Like it just, time, like the old adage says, you know, time flies by when you're having fun.
Exactly. And I had a great time, watching this episode and also the second episode. Same thing. It was shorter, but even though it was shorter, I still had a great time. The storytelling, amazing, great. I am excited for this show and the potential. The only thing I'm upset about is 9 episodes. It's HBO. Come on, do the 10
We'll find
episodes.
out. We'll see. They may even
Dude,
change their minds, but I mean, like it's all done. Like it may be enough. We don't know. We
it may
don't know.
it may be enough. On the Hebrew podcast, I talked with Adam, and I
And
told
what
him
did he
this.
have to say?
Well, first of all, he did see the gameplay on YouTube, so he has a lot of
Hmm.
knowledge. So it was an interesting conversation. But no, I told him this is how I'm expecting them to end the series, because even though we're now at the beginning of the series, I
Yeah.
want us right now to try to have predictions for the end of the series.
Okay.
And this is what I would love them to do. Doesn't matter how many seasons this is going to be. 1 season,
Yep.
2 seasons, 4 seasons. As of right now, we know there's only 9 episodes. So let's continue with that. Each season is 9 episodes.
Mhm.
By the last season, episode 8 is going to be the episode that is going to close it all. Close everything, our main characters, close the storyline. Episode 9 of the last season is going to be the episode completely dedicated to Patient Zero, how everything started, how all this came to pass.
I don't know if that's integral to the storyline because that I know is not in the lore as far as I understand. But that would be amazing. I think if anything, they would show, if they were going to take that route, they would show something along the lines of either how another story follows parallel with what was going on. So we see that one of the episodes, a really famous episode, a really good episode, we start it almost the same way, and then the camera veers off and shows this, and we start following a different character and seeing how the setup for the next season or a spin-off or something along that line. I mean, there's a lot of material to chew on, and they have the writing down as far as I'm concerned, and we'll just have to see.
Yeah, we will have to see. What you said is more of an ending, like here we end this series and we have an option for more series. And so that's what you said, but I'm saying like to close it all. So
Yeah, I see. Well, I mean, when they decide to end all the, well, because I don't know when you have a cash cow, it's hard not to milk it dry. So
unless if you respect the material and the fans.
But if they had something like that as a closure, that would be kick ass. I agree.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
There was another thing. There was another thing I wanted to say. I don't fucking remember. Oh yeah, you said it's not like in the game we don't know all this. The difference again, the game and the show, you can't really do the same thing. In the game, it takes time until you find out. In the show, the first 3 minutes they tell us it's fungus. So
I mean, do we really know? No, we know it is fungus. Yes.
That alone tells us like we're respecting the game, but we are a show, so we're gonna tell a story in a different way.
Yeah.
So telling us
it's not an important detail. Like it's an interesting story point, especially when the game was coming out for the first time, and as you'd find out, you're like, oh damn.
Yeah.
But now that we already know, it's like, okay, it's established lore. we can show everybody how fucked up this is, but the main focus is the story, not the elements that make it possible. Like we're establishing that so that you understand. Now we can move on.
Yeah, definitely. That's what
I'm excited. I can't wait to watch this.
you will enjoy episode 2. Let me say this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Okay.
I know you only give it a rating by the end of the season, but you
Mhm.
know what? We will try our best. What is your rating for this episode?
Episode 1, solid, like either 8.5 or 9. Like it's just a great, really well done. Like it's all this has been done before. It's very tropey, so there's not like it's hard to be original to whatever. However, because it does have that unique spin and it is based off of a game. And for me, seeing the homage to the fan, especially in the beginning when they're driving with the truck and it's chaos, and it's like, yeah, shit, that's but they made the world
That's
really
a doozy.
believable. It was really good. I thought it was great. So like, ep- episode 1, solid 8.5 out of 10. Like
Nice.
I only reserve 1 point off because nothing is perfect, and it wasn't it didn't blow my mind, and it wasn't deep enough to make me go like, oh. It was just like I sat through, I understood everything, and it was just delicious, and I was just like, all right, that was great, can't wait for the next one. Like
House of the Dragon.
House of Dragons, yeah, that was solid. Like I wasn't super like, didn't beg for more. Whereas like Midnight Mass, the series I just finished, which is a few years old at this point, like it was about substance, and it was about the collective of it all building somewhere, and the theological, philosophical, psychological ideals that they were starting to bring up as themes were like, made you like sit and like feel them. And it's like, all right, interesting. But by the end, it was the whole thing. So this, I'm stoked. I'm looking forward to, because this game has a lot of good moral conundrums of like, okay, was that a good idea? Was that not? And the thing is, that's the unique experience for the player. But now we're observers, and so it's an interesting thing. Okay, now it's like watching a game play, like watching someone play the game, but this time through a movie, because we don't have control over their decisions. Now we get to look at them as characters, and I think what I would like to see, because you could make decisions in games that are technically against the characters' um, narrative elements, but it would be justified because that's the course you took. I'm looking forward to seeing is the things that they make him do, like Joel specifically, or the interactions of other characters, if it makes sense within the world that they've built, and that the decisions make sense, or the dialogues feel functional and propel the story. And so far, I have not been disappointed, and it feels really good.
I most definitely have to agree with you on that. It feels amazing. It feels really good. So far, I believe this world 100%. Like,
Mhm.
obviously, like a lot of people could say, how can you believe this world? Like, zombies are not real. You gave me rules. You gave me, the laws and your world. I'm going to accept your world as fact and as reality. Your
Yep.
world is reality. And it's very important for me. You give me your rules and you do not break those rules. I've seen it in many times in many shows. For example, Game of Thrones, by the end, like season 8, you broke your
Mhm.
own rules. Like they did
Yeah.
it a lot. And it's like,
Yep.
it was disappointing. So it's very important for me. You give me your world, I will accept it as it is, and it's 100% real. You give me the rules, I will love it. Do not break it. And
Don't break it.
as of right now, personally, me, I'm 2 episodes in. You're still 1 episode in. They're doing a
Yep.
great job, and obviously, I can only really judge when it comes to rule breaking and future seasons. But hopefully, there will be rule breaking. Also, maybe if I play the game, I can compare. But I'm also going to put like divide the game and the show because they're two different things. You can't really say tell us the same story twice. You need to
Yep.
change it up a bit. Also for the gamers, like I did not play the game, so for me it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. For someone who played the game, it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. You brought my favorite game into a show, but it's all the exact same thing. So should I really watch it? So the
Yeah.
fact that they change it up a bit is also fun for the gamers.
Absolutely. I think that's
So
definitely an appeal.
yeah, I personally gonna give it a 9. And the reason is a 9. First of all, everything you just said, I 100% agree with.
Yeah,
Why
man.
a 9? I haven't seen a show in a long time that was so amazing by
Mm,
itself. By itself.
yeah.
House of the Dragon was absolutely amazing, yes, but thanks to Game of Thrones.
Yep. No, it needed that.
If it definitely needed Game of Thrones. If they didn't have Game of Thrones, it wouldn't have reached the same amount of viewers and rating that it got if it didn't have Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Therefore, this show did absolutely amazing with obviously yes, you have the game, but not everyone played the game. So for people who did not play the game, they still did an amazing job. This show holds up 100% without even having or needing to play the game.
Yeah.
So
Solid. Absolutely
yeah,
solid.
so I shall give it 9 out of 10.
Here, here.
Here, here. Yeah, I believe we got more or less to everything. The end of our
Yeah.
episode today.
I
Like
don't see a problem with this.
we didn't really talk about like all the small details, like the car battery and all that. But
Yeah. I mean,
it's okay. Yes,
it's minute. Is minute. Is difficult.
yeah. Like again, we're not the gamers, so for us it's a small detail. I do know in the game it's a very big detail. I do know there was also a battle over there, but in the show, Joel came at the end of the battle. Um, Anyways, Joel's trying to get a battery so he can drive and get to his brother, but the car battery is dead. They are now going to take Ellie because she has the cure to where they can get the car battery and where she can uh, potentially save humanity. To another go to a different camp. In the camp, I believe there's doctors. They can test her and possibly find a cure to save the world.
Yeah.
That's Ellie's mission. She is cargo for Joel. If Joel just, wants to get the battery to save his brother, but she's riding along with him. So
We shall see.
yeah, that's why they are together. Which actually technically, if I have to say, that's actually a very big deal. That's something that we should have mentioned. It's not the car
Mm.
battery is a small detail, but the fact that they are together, that's a big detail.
Yeah, they went out together. Yeah, I mean, we made some assumptions there. However,
Yeah.
don't you worry. On the next episode of spoilers,
Dragon Ball
obviously,
Z.
we'll address all the things we so sporadically, went over.
Yeah, we will. Um, I had a great time for especially not having to do a podcast for a very long time.
Yeah, welcome
So
back, man. So it's
yeah,
good,
no,
so good.
welcome back as well. It's been a while
Thank
for
you.
both of us.
It's good to
Um,
be back on the show. I'm a
for me as
fan.
well. For me
It's
as
been a
well.
long time. It's been a long time. I've been doing the radio stuff all through this time, but still, it's I'm pretty stoked.
Nice. How's it going?
I can't complain. Again, like it's such a fun gig. I think the show has its flow. I've been doing a lot of recordings for like bumpers and fillers and like you're listening. Keep your dial tuned in. Like all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, give that a check. Check that out. Download the app, Ham High Adventure Ministry. You can search that up, and it's like High Adventure, and it says The Voice, which is the the application and you download that. And then at certain points, which you can check on Instagram for the times at Reforge Radio, you can find out, and listen to my craziness. So it's all good.
You heard that, listeners. You should go do that.
Shameless plug.
Go ahead, shameless plug yourself. Go plug yourself.
Thanks. Way different connotation there.
Anyway, you should definitely give that a listen. Of Moses Radio. It is fun. It is fantastic. In the meantime, I do believe we got to the end of our show. I am your host, Joel, and with us, Moses Moon.
That's me, everyone.
I will have all the links, the bio for the Hebrew Podcast, Moses Instagram, and give us 5 stars on Spotify, anywhere else. We are spoilers, obviously. We talked about The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 1, and we'll catch you all again on the next episode. Until then, bye.
Bye. Peace out.
Peace out.